This week on Talkin Central Arizona Sports, the season comes to an end for the Bradshaw Mountain Bears and Prescott Badgers football teams. Hello everyone, my name is Torrence Dunham and welcome to a weekly podcast catching you up on the latest with Central Arizona sports teams. Part of Talking Last Media's Cast 11 podcast network, the show features game previews and recaps along with interviews with coaches and players and much more. The show starts off this week with the end of the high school football season for Central Arizona teams, as the Bradshaw Mountain Bears and Prescott High School Badgers both fell in their respective 4A state playoff quarterfinal games on Friday. Starting off with the Bradshaw Mountain Bears, who came into the game red hot, winning 7 in a row and earning their first home playoff win in more than a decade. The defense of the number 8 seeded Bradshaw Mountain Bears has been excellent during the team's stellar run, but they weren't able to contain the high-powered offense of the number 1 seeded American Leadership Academy Gilbert North Eagles and their senior quarterback Adam DeMonte in a 55-20 loss. The Eagles scored a touchdown on 6 of their 7 drives in the first half, only being stopped on a turnover on downs at the Bradshaw Mountain 5-yard line in the second quarter. Most of the damage came through the air, as DeMonte completed 17 of 23 passes for 338 yards and 5 touchdowns before being removed early in the second half, already up by multiple touchdowns. Here's head coach Bob Young on the Eagles' fast start.
Well, we just let the game get out of hand real quick, and it was, they got the train rolling, and we couldn't stop it. They just have a lot of weapons. The last month or so, we played teams that had 1 or 2 guys that we could shut down. These guys, the whole field was that way, and again, this wasn't our best effort. I didn't think we tackled well, but they made us do that. So they got a heck of a team.
The Eagles' defense was just as good as their offense as they held Bradshaw Mountain scoreless in the first half, with the Bears' best drive being 11 plays for 32 yards.
They're a fine football team, and I just think defensively we knew we were going to give up some points, but our offense we just never made any ground.
Bradshaw Mountain would find the end zone a few times in the second half with some dazzling plays by their seniors. Quarterback Grady Rose and wide receiver Tanner Mitchell connected on 150 yards and 2 touchdowns, one of which was on a 78-yard completion late in the game. Senior Joel Dean also returned to kick more than 50 yards for a touchdown. The loss concludes a season for the Bears in which they went 7-3 overall in the regular season, including capturing their second consecutive 4A Grand Canyon region title by sweeping all 5 teams. Bradshaw Mountain accomplished this with only 10 seniors on the team, and losing most of their dominant offensive line from last year. Here's Mitchell on that.
I'm extremely proud of all my boys. In the beginning of our off-season and after last year, everybody wrote us off and told us that we lost our line and that we're going to not win a single game. So just to prove them wrong and get this far feels really good.
Rose echoed Mitchell, saying the seniors set the team up to be even better next season.
I think they're going to dominate the region again. We got Giggy, you got James Gee, Gabe Ricketts, Jordan Kelly. Just the list goes on and on and on. And I'm excited to see what they do. I think we set our seniors set them up for a good place. We got them to here, and let's see them go to the next level.
Coach Young said work on the new season begins this week.
Hopefully it'll drive them in the weight room. I told them next week, we need to get in there and feel this hurt and feel this pain. And, it's a long off season, and we got a lot of work to do, obviously, but we're going to get going on it next week.
American Leadership Academy Gilbert North advances to the semifinals to play Lake Havasu as they seek their first state championship in school history. Meanwhile, Prescott High School couldn't get anything going offensively in their game against Snowflake as they fell 23-3. Here's head coach Cody Collett on the loss.
Anytime you're playing a team that is I believe a 10 or 11 game playoff win streak, you can't commit turnovers. And I really still feel like had we played our perfect game, we could have been right there with them. But we turned the ball over 4 times in the first half and dug ourselves too big a hole against that good a defense. It was pretty much as simple as that. Our defense, I thought, played really well. Offensively, historically speaking, I think it was the best offense in PHS history. But we ran into a buzzsaw against a Snowflake defense that was just fast and physical and really, 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 really good.
The season concludes for Prescott High School with an 8-2 regular season record and a 4-1 mark in the region, good for second place. The Badgers also got a playoff win in the opening round on the road against Apache Junction. The Badgers will be losing 24 seniors from this year's team, including school rushing touchdown record holder Cody Leopold, Cian McKelvey, Maury Norris, and Jake Hilton.
Just really proud of our team and our program. Back-to-back trips to the quarterfinals, first Grand Canyon team to do that in over a decade. 5 straight trips to playoffs, 11 straight winning seasons. High team GPA, great group of young men. Really, really happy with our program. It's going to be very difficult to replace these 24 seniors, but they certainly accomplished quite a bit in their time at Prescott. And we're really proud of them, proud of our whole team, and wish we could have kept the ride going all the way to Sun Devil Stadium. But I think some of the things they took from this season are going to be with them a long time. Some of hopefully the life lessons and some of the good times. And it was a great season, blessing to coach these guys. And sad that it's over, but really happy that we got to do it.
The Badgers will get some key contributors back next season, including quarterback Jackson Rice and Uriah Tennett.
Jackson and Uriah are both really, really talented players. They have to be involved in everything. Just do a great job. Uriah is a tremendous basketball player also. So those two guys are definitely a good building block to start with, no question. And we'll get in the weight room and get our other guys ready to go. And, we're probably going to take a little bit of time to gel and things like that, but I think before it's all said and done, we'll have a solid team.
We'll whip around Central Arizona sports teams as the winter seasons get underway, but first, they say failing to prepare is preparing to fail. And with Thanksgiving in the rearview mirror and the holiday season now underway, winter is coming. Can your heater handle it? Schedule your fall tune-up today with Yavapai Plumbing and Heating. All the info you need is at ypeinc.com. That's ypeinc.com. Welcome back to Talkin Central Arizona Sports. Thanks for giving this podcast a listen. It's time to whip around Central Arizona sports teams and get you caught up on previous results and what's to come this week. Prescott High School boys and girls basketball gets their seasons underway starting this week as the boys will play Mountain Ridge on the road Friday while the girls will host Mountain Ridge the same day at 5:30 p.m. The boys soccer team also gets their season started as they will compete in the Alliance tournament over the weekend. Meanwhile, the boys wrestling team competes against Deer Valley and Yuma on Wednesday before competing in the Nate Johnson Memorial Duels tournament over the weekend. Moving on to Bradshaw Mountain, the boys basketball team got their season started with a win against Seton Catholic Prep last week, 62-57. Then in the VCS boys basketball Thanksgiving tournament, they went 3-1 with wins over Horizon, Tuba City, and Page. They next play Tuesday at home against Dysart at 7 p.m. The girls basketball team lost their opening game last week against Seton Catholic 53-31. Next up is Dysart on the road Tuesday at 7 p.m. The boys soccer team begins their season on Tuesday as they play St. Mary's on the road before competing in the Alliance tournament over the weekend. The girls soccer team will also get their season underway on Tuesday against St. Mary's at home at 5 p.m. The boys wrestling team, meanwhile, competes against Centennial and Independence on the road Wednesday at 4 p.m. Over to the Chino Valley High School Cougars now, as the girls basketball team are looking for their first win of the new season as they lost last week 84-12 to the Show Low Cougars and fall to 0-2. They host Payson on Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. The boys basketball team is also looking for their first win after losing to Show Low last week 70-35 to fall to 0-2. They also host Payson on Tuesday with tip-off at 7 p.m. The boys wrestling team begins their season on Wednesday in an 8-team meet before competing in the Pat Kenny tournament over the weekend. The girls wrestling team will also compete in the Pat Kenny tournament to begin their season. On to collegiate sports now as the Embry-Riddle women's soccer team gets set to begin the 2022 NAIA Women's Soccer National Championship on Tuesday against Tennessee Southern at 3 p.m. The men's basketball team lost last week against OUAZ 104-77, but beat Benedictine Mesa 72-68 on Monday. Connor Verdugo led the team with 14 points. At 3-3, next up is road games against UC Merced on Friday and Simpson on Sunday. The women's basketball team also got a win against Benedictine Mesa on Monday night, 60-46. Zachariah King had 14 points, and Hannah Urbano scored 13 points in the win. At 5-3, they now hit the road for road games against UC Merced on Friday and Simpson on Sunday. The men's wrestling team, meanwhile, competes in the New Mexico Highlands Open on Saturday, ending the whip around with the Yavapai College Roughriders as the men's basketball team last week beat Phoenix, but lost both games in the Chapman Automotive Thanksgiving basketball tournament against the College of Southern Nevada and Snow to fall to 3-4 on the season. They host Eastern Arizona on Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. and Pima on Saturday at 2 p.m. The women's basketball team had their game against Phoenix postponed last week. At 3-3 on the season, they host Eastern Arizona on Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. and Pima on Saturday at 4 p.m. As I do every week, I'll end the show giving my thoughts on some state sports. I believe there is no longer a question on what needs to happen for the Arizona Cardinals. They need a change in the front office and head coaching jobs, and it needs to happen during the team's bye week. The Cardinals, after leading for nearly the entire game on Sunday when I went to see them at State Farm Stadium, lost, even though they had the ball in the final 2 minutes up by 7 points. They couldn't get the first downs needed to ice the game, or even get it to the 2-minute warning. Combine that with one of the more puzzling play calls I've ever seen to go for it on 4th down in their own territory while up on the scoreboard with 5 minutes left in the second quarter, which turned into an interception, clearly shows head coach Cliff Kingsbury is grabbing at straws and has no idea how to fix this team. The team has problems on and off the field, as evidenced by last week, and it's time for owner Michael Bidwell to put aside his pride, realize his mistake of giving Kingsbury and GM Steve Keim ridiculous contracts last offseason, and hit the refresh button on this team before it's too late. Although, you know what, for some, it already may be too late, as the Charger fans basically took over State Farm Stadium on Sunday, a fan base that has problem drawing their own fans at their own home stadium. I'm Torrence Dunham, and this has been Talkin Central Arizona Sports, part of Talking Glass Media's Cast 11 podcast network. Come on back next week for recaps of the beginning games of the winter sports season. Have a great week, and we'll see you back here next week.